All right, so you guys are going to start off with something that looks relatively close to this format-wise for your coral reef sways. What I want to show you guys is a little bit of how to use sway and some of the things that you're going to want to make sure that you do when you are working with your sway. So if you look, this first card should say title card, so make sure that yours does. And then you should have a title here. If you would like to edit any of these things, you're just going to click and you can edit any part of your sway. So your text is not finalized by any means. By the way, I skipped this part, but if it started you out and yours is looking more like this and you're like, I don't know how to get there, you're going to go ahead and click here on edit. And then you're going to go ahead and move to between storyline and design here. So this is kind of the back end of your sway that you can use to edit. Design is a way to very quickly look and see what you have going on, but it's not exactly showing you how it's going to look for the final version. When you want to look and see what your users are going to see when they see your presentation, you're going to click play, and play is what it actually looks like. It also gives you those little animations. So back to edit and back to our storyline so that we can mess around with this. Okay, so one of the first things you're going to want to do is on your title, you're going to want to create some sort of background image there. So we're going to go ahead and click just general coral reefs. You're going to notice you can search here any topic that you want. You can also, this is just using suggested, you could also use Bing images, and it even lets you put in YouTube there. But we're just going to go ahead and choose a nice high resolution image to be in our background and click add. And notice it puts it right where it's supposed to go. Now I can go here at design and say, okay, yep, I like the resolution, it looks good. If I will go over to play, again, I see what it really looks like in my sway. Okay, back to storyline. If in the picture you decide that it is not focusing on the part of the picture that you really like, you can click here on focus points. Focus points allows you to tell Sway what is really important about your picture. So I really like this part of what I'm seeing, so I can go ahead and do that, and it will go ahead and change those focus points. That way when we hit play, it makes sure that my important points are still on there. Okay. The next card you should see is a heading card. So right here you should see heading card, and you should have your first little heading there. So again, I'm going to want to go ahead and add a background there. For this one, I want a picture of the actual coral animal. So maybe instead of coral reefs here, maybe I'll type in coral polyp and see what I get here. And oh, look, I get a ton of, ooh, okay, I like this one right here. Add. And then again, I can go over to design, and it's giving me a picture of a coral polyp. Go over to play, and I can see it's just giving me kind of a tiny bit, and it's notice these move in this. It's not really giving me what I want, so I can go back to storyline. I can click on my image, I can click focus points, and I can say, no, really, I want to show kind of these portions. And I go back to play. Notice little dots up here, those tell you that it is still working. Okay, now you can see it's more towards the top, and as I get there, it's showing me more of the tentacles. And okay, yeah, I like that better maybe. Okay, back to edit. So that is just how you change background images for your title and your heading slides. Now, moving on past that, you're going to notice you already have some text cards in there, and I'm going to make this really quick look more like what yours probably looks like right now. And I'm going to delete one of these. So yours probably looks like this. You probably have all of your information in one text card here, which is fine, except your text is all going to be bunched up together. So what we are actually going to do for right now to show you is add a new text card, because I kind of want these things to be broken up. They're two kind of different topics, right? So I'm going to copy part of my text that I want. I'm going to click this little green button here. This allows me to add a new card. I want to add just a normal text card, and then I'm going to paste it directly in there. And I can go ahead and delete what I just wrote back there. So now I have two cards. And what I want you to notice too are these gray boxes. So I've got this gray box around what is corals. All of this is my what is corals section of my sway. All right. Now, in between these, I would like to go ahead and add some pictures to give my audience an idea of what we're looking at here. So I'm going to go ahead and click image. And again, it's going to bring me to this option here, and it's going to give me suggested options. And I'm going to say, no, I would like to just look at regular coral again. And I want to give kind of a range of options for what coral can look like, because it can look very different. Okay, so I've selected all of the images that I would like to include for this portion. I'm going to click add. Now notice over here it's automatically selected all of those images I just did, and that's because one of the best things to do, I'll show you what it looks like right now if you just leave them as is. So if you don't do anything called this grouping thing that I'm about to show you, all of your images just kind of come up like this. This is the default, and this might be okay, but there are some other options you can play with and that I would encourage you to play with, which are grouping. So you can click this button here that says group, and it will automatically group them all together. Over here on the right, you're able to select your group type. So for this one, I would like to start out and just have a stack of photos. Okay, so I've selected stack, and go back over here. These are now in my photo stack. So now again, I go back to play, and I can see here I've got corals or things that are things, and I've got corals or animals still over here. You notice it kind of looks a little funky. If you go back to edit, you can do further grouping. So I would like this text box to also be grouped with this. Now notice this dark gray box is around all of these. That means it's around that entire group, but I want to group those two things together. And scroll back up, I find group, and I can group them together again. And it only allows me to automatic or default group there, but that's okay. The other thing I would like to show you is how to make something emphasized. So for this text, if you notice in the design, my text is just plain black, not bolded or anything like that. There's some couple ways to emphasize text. One is to just emphasize the entire statement. So if I go back to design, this is how it defaults it to making a different color. If I go back to storyline, I can also say, okay, I think it's really surprising that corals are animals. So I'm going to say corals are animals, and I'm going to emphasize animals. If I go back to my design, that makes animals bold there. Okay. You can also change the emphasis on your pictures and videos. So if you just click on the top of whatever group or individual item you're looking at, you can change the emphasis here. So I'd like these to be moderately emphasized. If I click play, I can see, okay, they're a little bit bigger now, and if I could make them really big and they would be the whole screen. Remember, the stacks are cool because you can click through them just like this, which is great. I go back to my editing platform. I'm going to go ahead and move down. I'd like to go ahead and change this next part. Corals are animals. What I would like to add here is a video so that we can actually show that corals are animals and not plants. So I'm going to go click here. I'm going to click media. Do not use video. Video is set up for having a downloaded MP4. I prefer to use the embed code, which to find that you would automatically need to have come up with a YouTube video for that. What I've done here is I've identified a YouTube video that I would like to use. It's called Water Corals. And to find the embed code, you click share. and then you click embed here, and it gives you this code. You can choose to start it at a different point in your video if you want. You don't have to start it at the beginning, but I'm just going to click copy here because I would like to use the whole video as an option there. So I've copied my video, and I'm going to go back to Sway. I'm going to click embed, and then here where it says paste your embed code, I'm just going to paste my code there, hit enter, or not enter, I'm sorry, click off of it, and my video loads. Now again, I would like to group my text with this video, and I would just like them to be a normal grid, but I would like my video to be a main focus, and I would also like this to be a main focus. So back to play, and corals are things that are things. I see my there, and then corals are animals, and notice my video now takes up the entire page. I think that's a little too big, so I'm going to go back to edit, click on my video, and I'm going to make it just a touch smaller. Click play. Notice my dots are updating this, and it's a little smaller. If you would like to make it even further, you can make it the smallest one. It is completely your choice. So back to edit, there's just a few more things that I want to show you. You will continue to do things like this for the entire way down of your sway. The other things that I would like to show you here in design are styles. So you do have some creative control over your style here. You can simply click remix. Excuse me. And it will auto format a lot of different options for you. So if you are kind of the person that is not super creative feeling, but you know what you like to look at, you can click remix and keep clicking remix until you see something that strikes your eye. So right now I'm only on vertical. If I would like to also explore horizontal options, you can also, your sway can also go left to right, as well as up and down, more like a website. If you're like, oh, I really like that last one, there's a back button here. You can just click back and get to whichever style you found that fit you the best or that you really appreciate the most. So there are all of those options. Let's see. And okay, say I really like this one, I'd like to stay with that. Okay, and then the rest of your project will be formatted in that general way. All right. Now, if you are somebody that wants to customize a little bit more, you are welcome to do that. You can play around with these options. You can select your own backgrounds. You can select your own color schemes for your text. There are more. If you click the arrows to either sides of these, it's going to give you more. Okay, so again, you do have quite a bit of creative freedom here, not quite as much as an individual PowerPoint, but you get a lot more out of this, and it does look a lot more professional as an overall look. After you've watched this video, if you have any other questions about any of the functionality, please feel free to either watch more YouTube videos or to come ask me. I am happy to give you an extra hand on that.